Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Linda. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to stitch a notch collar jacket. If this sounds like what you're interested in, you might already want to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. So without further ado, let's just dive in. So guys, right here on my table, I have my patterns laid over my fabric and I had to cut it out with 0.5 inches stitching allowance added all around the patterns. And here you can see me displaying the sleeve. This is the sleeve, and I decided to add an extra length because of the sleeve length of my client. And also I did the same thing for the other part of the sleeve. So I added like 2 inches there. Now this is my collar part. I cut out 2 of the collar on fold. I have gone ahead to add interfacing to it. If you look closely, you see a shiny black surface on it. There is an interfacing added to the both of them. So I'll be setting this aside because I want to work on the main bodies. So now coming to the front pattern, you can see the center front has been cut, and I also added interfacing to the both sides of the pattern. And this is black fabric you see here will serve as a lining part for me to turn over the collar. So now to start working, I'm going to be working with the back bodies. First of all, I'll be removing these pins and I'll be detaching them from the main from the fabric. And the next thing I will be doing is just to separate the lining pieces from the main fabric. Whatever I'm going to do for the main fabric, I'm going to be doing the same thing for the lining part. So I'll just go ahead and lay my back piece pattern like this, like you see me doing, and I'll be stitching this part like you see me pointing. So I'll go ahead and open this up. This is what I'll be joining by 1/2 inch on both sides. I'll just go ahead and stitch it while at the center back, like you see me doing. I'll be stitching it by 0.5 inches allowance like this, the 2 fabric you see in there. And this is what we have after I am done stitching the back piece. You can see the joining that I made there. And I'll go ahead and press it flat. So I also did the same thing for the lining like I said, and I left out a little bit of opening for the turning whenever I am done to turn it inside out. And now the next thing I'll be doing is just attach the sides. So for the side, I'll be placing my side front and my center front like this. I'll go ahead and stitch them at the sides by 1.5 inches stitching allowance. I'll also go ahead and repeat the same thing for the lining part. So whenever I am done, what I'll do next is just go ahead and attach the center front to the side front, and also attach this piece to the lining part. This black piece go for the lining part. I'll be setting it aside for now. Now it's time to join the 2 front piece. I have the center front and the side front. So I'll have 4 of this. I'm going to be stitching this like this upwards, and I will make sure I'm using 1/2 inch on both sides. Now this is what I have after I am done joining. You can see the stitching allowances, you can see the joining. I also did the same thing for the lining piece, and you can see that there is an opening here which I'll be using to turn it inside out like I stated earlier. Next, I'll just go ahead and place the lining part on the main fabric right side to right side facing each other because I want to align the shoulders, and I'll stitch the shoulder lines. And for that, I'll be placing the 2 shoulder points like this, like you see me doing, and I'll be stitching them. Same thing I did for the fabric, I'll be doing for the lining part. This is what I have. I am done with joining the shoulders, and the next thing I'll do is just go ahead and attach the collar part on top of the neckline. Next, I'll just go ahead and attach my collar to this part. I'll pin it all the way around, and I'll do the same thing for the lining part as well. So one of the collars will go for the lining and one will be going for the main fabric. Now for the main fabric, I have placed my collar right side facing downwards, and I'm just going to be attaching this part on top of my neckline. So I'll be using my scissors to notch this point for now, and I'll be aligning that notch point with the center of my back piece. You can see there's a stitch running through that point, and I'm just going to align it with the notch which I had made for the collar. Next, I'm just going to use a pin to secure it for now, and I will head over to the machine to stitch it down. When stitching this down, I'll make sure to leave at least 1.5-inch gap before the end of the collar, and I'll be aligning it with the other part of the collar as well. For that, I'll go ahead and match these points with the other part, making sure I leave about 1.5-inch at that end, and then I'll pin it all through. This is what I have after I'm done pinning it through. You can see how neat it is already. You can see how it has formed its shape. And the next thing I'll do is just go ahead and stitch it as I have done. And you can see from the right side how neat it is looking like. Then you can see both ends of the notch as well. I also attached the sleeve. I have a video on how to draft this sleeve right on this channel. So I'll just go ahead and place the lining part right side to right side facing each other. I'll be matching the collar with the other part. And I'll also go ahead and hold it and secure it down with my pin. What I'm doing now is just making sure to hold it in place with the pins before stitching it down with the machine. Next, I'll go ahead and run a stitch of about 0.5 inches all the way around. Then I'll also stitch this part as we move. Next, I went ahead to notch the collar just to give it more flexibility. And after that, I'll flip it inside out and I'll poke it out with the scissors to give it more pointed look. This is what I have after I am done turning it inside out. This is the notch point. You can see how it is coming out together. I'll go ahead and turn it inside out again just to stitch the down part. It might be looking so rough and haggard right now, but trust me, when you're done stitching this part and you're done turning it inside out and done pressing it, you will see how neat it is actually looking. Next, I'm just going to flip this around and I'm going to be turning it inside out from that little opening that I created on the lining part. After I am done turning this inside out, you can see that the sleeves are 4 instead of 2. So 2 for the lining part and 2 for the main fabric. So I'm just going to put this inwards and I'll do the same thing for the Ankara part as well. So you can basically see that the 2 sleeves are poking out on the wrong side. So I'm just going to intersect it with one another by measuring it like this, as you see me doing. I'll be aligning the Ankara part to the lining part with the side seams together. And if you so wish, you can go ahead and secure it with your pins together. So just watch carefully at what I am doing and you'll get it right. Now that I have successfully merged them together, I'll go ahead and run a stitch at this point all the way around, and I'll also do the same thing for the other part of the sleeve as well. So you can see how it is on the other sleeve. I am done with the other sleeve, and this is what I have after I'm done intersecting them together and merging it together. So this is what I have for the sleeves. This is actually what you will get after you have done, if you get it right. So just go ahead and pull it out from the right side of the sleeve. This automatically pulls the lining part inwards to look as one sleeve instead of 2. So this is what I have for my sleeve. You can go ahead and check my video out on how to draft this 2-piece sleeve. I'll be leaving the link in the description box and I'll be leaving it on the screen as well. And now turning it from the lining side, you can see the opening. I'll just go ahead and stitch this with my machine or use your hand stitch to run it through. For the purpose of styling this jacket, you can go ahead and make a curved shape at the down part like so if you want, but for my client, she prefers it to be straight, so I'll be making use of the straight pattern. Then this is what I have after I am done pressing it thoroughly, and this is the final look. This is how it came out. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly do so now and also tap on the notification bell so you get more interesting videos like this. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.